Hey everybody, this is Rusty again with Collector Auctions. Today I've got something a little bit different for you. We're going to do a little bit of a comic book haul. These are books I've been picking up the last few weeks from different sources, from eBay, Shortboxed, whatnot, one of my local comic book shops, my LCS, and Heritage Auctions. I think I've got them all. There's been a few. I've been picking up some things, nothing too expensive, but I've been trying to find some good values here and there. And it's been fun, especially with whatnot, exploring that and seeing how that works. And no, we'll kind of get into it, and I'll show you some of the stuff and some of my pitfalls that I fell into with that. But anyway, guys, hey, before we get going, hit the like and subscribe button if you like this kind of content. Usually I'll be doing CGC unboxings. My last one was a CGC unboxing. I will probably have another one in the next few weeks. The way they are turning around things right now is pretty exciting. The order I literally just sent in, I think I mailed it, well, FedExed it on 2 Saturdays ago now. It just got received today, and it's already in the system starting to be worked on. It's at least scheduled for grading, so hopefully we'll see if that's remains something that they do pretty quickly or not. But anyway, guys, let's get into it. This is going to be a little bit of probably a long video by the time I'm done. I've already unboxed everything, of course, but I've got most of the books in the boxes so I can keep things organized. It's all sitting here on the couch and everything. So let's get into it. Let's start with Heritage Auctions. So I just recently picked this up, and as you may remember from my previous videos, I'm a big fan of the John Byrne, Dave Cockrum run on X-Men, especially the John Byrne. I missed the first year or so of his work, but I came into it starting with issue 123. I remember that as a kid, getting that book with Arcade and going from there. And I had this issue I was in my personal collection. Most of those issues from 123 on up I had in my personal collection. Reader copies, all of them. But I picked this up, another 9.6, and as I've said in previous times about 9.6s, I think these things are wonderful, wonderful value. 9.8s are going out of sight, but I think there's a lot of value in these 9.6s, so I've been doing a pretty good run of these lately. I'm down to a few of the books, the John Byrne books, that I'm going to end up having to pay some money for. The 109 with the First Guardian, with Alpha Flight and everything, and then of course the 2 Alpha Flight issues. Those are going to end up having to spend some money on. Most of the other ones I've got, either they were already in my collection I had bought previously, or I picked up at some point. Anyway, this is I picked this one up, 9.6. It's a real nice issue. This is the first cover appearance with Kitty Pryde. This is when she joins the X-Men. And I also got this from Heritage Auctions. Let me take the post-it note off. They sent me a couple catalogs. And first, I think this is about the second time I've gotten catalogs from them. Over the summer, I've been a big buyer on Heritage. Nothing crazy expensive, although on one of those orders got pretty expensive when it added all up. But anyway, they sent me 2 catalogs here with it's comics and comic art auctions. This is the Promise collection, and this is going to take place November 18th through 21st. I think they've been doing different Promise collections from CGC on this. I'm not sure, but these are fun things to get. I could have picked them up. I should have picked them up when I was in Baltimore. They were represented there. I stopped by and talked with them, but they didn't quite offer up catalogs. Of course, I didn't ask for it either, but it's fun to go through these and take a look at some of the old issues and everything. Books I probably will never have, but it's been interesting to see a lot of the old books and what's currently on sale. This one is just a regular, well, I take it back. This is, again, still November 18th through the 21st auction. So I'm going to have fun just reading through those. Alright. Let's do Shortbox next. I don't know if anybody's been doing Shortbox, but again, they were represented in Baltimore, but they didn't really seem like they were interacting with too many people when they came to your booth. I was hoping for a coupon or something like that. And I'll be honest, with most of short boxed, they'll send out a coupon once a month, once every 2 months or whatever, and at least it will get you free shipping. So I've been picking up a few things on the lower scale of things that I'd kind of like to have in my collection just for display purposes. But I picked up, let's start with this one. This is Captain America number 23 with the Alex Ross Timeless cover. And I also picked up Avengers number 42 with Hawkeye. So those are real nice. Those will go real well with some of the ones I submitted myself. I sent in the Black Widow, one of the Black Widow Timeless covers, and the Scarlet Witch. So the Avengers collection with Timeless is starting to come along a little bit. But that's some beautiful work, and I'm a little late to the game on it, but some of these 9.8s on that are not that outrageous. So a little bit of money here. It's not that big a deal. Been real nice. Those are beautiful covers. All right, let's move over with another thing. I had recent travels. Every time I'm out in Frederick, Maryland, or going by there, I try to stop off at Beyond Comics. They are, first time I'd ever went there was Free Comic Book Day back in August, and it turns out it's a very nice shop. A lot of new issues. They've got it. I wouldn't say it's a giant amount of back issues, but they've got a healthy amount of back issues and a healthy amount of trade paperbacks and some more premium books as well. It's not huge, but they've got a little bit of everything. So I stop there when I can, and you never know what I'm going to pick up. I had picked some, again, let's go what I picked up here. I picked up one of the Fantastic Fours with these, again, Alex Ross. They literally have a box there, and I was thumbing through and trying to pick out some good issues. There was so there's Fantastic Four with the Thing, Thor number 8, and this was a beautiful cover of Spider-Woman number, I guess it's number 5. This is Fantastic Four Antithesis. This is number 3 with Medusa, and you can't have Medusa without having Black Bolt. Now they had some other ones there. I know they had the Black Panther. They had a Spider-Man. I'm trying to think. They still had some Scarlet Witches, and those Scarlet Witches are the ones I had submitted earlier. They had some more X-Men, but I had also picked up a couple other things. And by that point, I didn't want to spend too much more money. These were just cover price. But then I ended up going through their variant box that you can thumb through, and I picked up another Berserker. This is issue number 1. This is, I believe it's a Grandpa variant sketch cover. But that was real nice. It's a 1 in 100. And then I picked up the cover. This is the new House of Slaughter number 1, the Virgin edition with, I guess this is a homage to Nice House on the Lake, Virgin cover. And so I picked that up. I'm going to spec on that a little bit, but I'm going to try to get some more of the rarer books rather than just the ones that are going to be, a lot of them out there. So anyway, that's what I ended up at Beyond Comics in Frederick, Maryland. Alright guys, where should we go next? What have I done? I've done Beyond Comics, Heritage, Short Box. Let's do, I'll tell you what. We'll finish up with Whatnot. Let's go over eBay. Now, anybody who knows me knows that I'm a big sports fan. I love baseball. I love collecting autographs with baseball players, and actually anybody. So, a couple of things I picked up here recently is one of my favorite card sets of all time. It is the 2012 Panini Cooperstown collection, and these are the autographed ones they had in there, and I just picked up a Yogi Berra and a Tony Gwynn. Now I think this is my first Tony Gwynn. I think I actually have the Yogi, but it was a pretty good price, and you can't go wrong with Major League former Hall of Famers. I should say former players, Hall of Famers like this. They will not go down in value. These will only go up in value over time. And I've got a giant collection of the Cooperstown like this. It's pretty good. There's only a few I'm missing. There may be some variant ones. I know that I think Gary Carter They have one with Gary Carter, but there's two different versions. Paul Molitor, I know they have two different versions. I may not have both of them, but at least have one of them. The point being is to have the autographs, actually, more than what the card really is. But these are really nice. I love the design on this. Let me see if I can get this a little bit closer. Yeah, I'm getting some glare from the screen, but anybody who has a chance, take a look at online and you can see what a beautiful design that the Cooperstown collection is from 2012. So, sorry for veering off of comic books here for a second, but that's one of my passions. That's actually one of the only sets that I collect, unless I'm doing in-person autographing, but that's the only ones I actually end up buying for myself. Alright, so let's start with eBay. This is... And sorry I didn't write down all the sellers on this, but I'm not going to get into that, especially with Whatnot. I can't keep track of it. This is Fantastic Four 248. I'm sorry, 247. It's the second part to a Doom storyline. It's a 2-issue Doom storyline. Beautiful John Byrne artwork, and I've been doing a lot of collecting on some of the John Byrne Fantastic Fours, keys, semi-keys, trying to find higher grade versions of all these books. In my Baltimore Comic-Con video, you will have seen a bunch of the Fantastic Four issues that I picked up there. This is one of the ones I was looking for. I could not find a really good copy of this one, so I ended up getting this one online at a pretty decent price. I still need to go over it with a fine-tooth comb, and everything here will end up, for the most part, will end up with, especially the older stuff, will end up with a clean and press by myself at some point, and probably be submitted to CGC at a future date. We'll see how long that takes. Alright, next thing I have here. Now, this is something I've had in the past. It was a comic that I had as a child. It was one of the few comic books that I wouldn't say I was given, but I lived next to my grandparents, and I'd always go exploring in the house, and I ended up finding a handful of old comics, and this was one of them. So it held a special place in my heart. I still have that copy someplace, but I bought a better copy years later, probably in the early 90s when I was starting to work and had money. But I saw it at the Baltimore Comic-Con at the very end, the very last 15 minutes right before I walked out the door on that Sunday night. I ran across this on the wall. It was a really good price, but I tell you, at that point I was spent out. I was done. I didn't want to spend any more money. The guy gave me probably a really good deal, and that's the second time this year that I've walked away from a really nice copy of this particular issue. And that issue I'm talking about is Nick Fury, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. number 15. And anybody knows anything about this, this is the first appearance of the first Bullseye. It's actually the first and last appearance of that Bullseye. Wonderful story. He's a hired assassin, hired to kill Nick Fury, and if you know what the story is, he kills Nick Fury. And just a beautiful artwork. It's Herb Trimp. Is it Trimp? Trimpy? I never knew how to say that. But I ended up with a pretty good price on this. You can see the price that's on there. They had a $100 price tag on there, but I didn't pay anywhere close to that. And even with eBay fees and taxes, I still got a pretty good deal. Not as good as I would have gotten from the one in Baltimore, but this is a really nice copy. Few minor defects. I will give this a nice clean and press. I have not done a submission of books to CGC yet with anything older, going back to 1975 and older. So this will be added to that pile I'm slowly working on. So looking forward to that, and as I said, I'll do a nice little clean and press on that. Alright, next up from eBay. Now, this was one of these books that I picked up at my other LCS, Third Eye Comics down in Annapolis, Maryland. And I picked it up. I paid a pretty good price for it. It is a limited, I'm sure there's a ratio on this. And that particular week I picked that up. I love the original Frank Miller Daredevil cover to that. It's been homaged several times, even this year. The last couple months, it's been several books I've seen this cover homaged. So I picked this up. It was a pretty big order. I'm sorry, pick up from comics there, and New Comic Book Day. And I got back to the house, and I had books in the bag, and before I go on, I bought 2 copies of this, and I'll tell you why in a second. But so as I was opening the door, the bag slips from the hand right down on the corner, and every book in the bag had massive damage to one of the corners, and including this one. This was the best of them because it was bagged and boarded already. But in the front looked pretty good, and it looked like I could give it a press, it would have been okay. But the back, oh, it was awful. And one thing I hate is when I make a mistake, I like to fix that mistake and fix it as quickly as possible. And maybe I'm an idiot sometimes, but sometimes I will overspend, or I will spend again to fix that mistake. Maybe there's something wrong with me on that. But anyway, so what I did is I waited a couple days, and I went back down to Third Eye and ended up picking up every one of the issues that I had bought previously. I picked them up, but they had this one still there. I know what I paid for it. But I went online before I went back, and I actually bought 2 of these for just a little bit more than the price that Third Eye had on sale. So I ended up picking 2 of these up, again, just not from Third Eye on that. And who knows if there's a spec on this, but now I've got 2 really good copies that will, if there's a nice value on it at some point, I've got a good, 2 books now. All right, that was it for eBay. Now, I'm going to get into Whatnot here, and I don't know if anybody has been using Whatnot. I've found it to be pretty easy to use. There's a couple complaints I have about it, but we'll get into that in a little bit. But one of the things I think you can kind of get sucked into is bidding on things, especially if you're bidding on multiple channels at the same time. Well, you do one, and you flip over to another one, and you do one there, and in my mind, I try to don't just get one book from a place, try to pick up several so your shipping is combined and maybe save a little bit of money. No, don't just buy one book here and pay shipping, buy one book here, pay shipping. Try to buy several books, but I got into a case where I lost track of, okay, who did I get this from, and what did I get here? There's not really a way for you on your side as a buyer to keep track of what you just purchased. I don't think. At least not quickly enough for me to remember which seller was this. So I kind of overspent in the last few weeks, but I got a lot of great books here. So let's start with this one right here. This was not my first order, this is my second. Now, I've got some great books in here, but the very first order I bought was it was a, what was it? It was a Slaughter book. I'm blanking completely. Something's Killing the Children, number 16. It was the Bill Sienkiewicz cover variant. I had already purchased that previously a while back for more money than I paid for it on Whatnot, and I had submitted to CGC. It's still at CGC, and that book, because I'm not showing it here, you know where it is. I sent that one to CGC as well, so I'm going to have, hopefully I'll have, both of them are in pre-screens. They both look great. I'm hoping both of them come back fine, 9.8. But anyway, let's go on to this order here. So I picked up X-Men 256, the reemergence of Psylocke as, well, Psylocke as the Lady Mandarin, Jim Lee artwork. And if you watch some of the other videos, again, you know this is a book that I am heavily speccing on, not as a super expensive book, but at a 9.8, 9.6, there's some money to be made there. Picked up Marvel Fanfare number 10. This is I believe this is the first issue in the George Perez storyline with the Black Widow that they used some characters from in the movie they made. Let's what I got here. I got the Batman Adventures #1. This is my second copy of this. The first one I sent off to CGC. It is still sitting there. I'm hoping for a 9.8 on that one. This one, again, on all of these, I'm going to have to take a look at them and make sure that I can fix anything and to see if I really need to submit this one as well. You kind of take a chance because you can't really see. The auctions are so fast, you can't really see what the defects are. You can ask, but they can only show you so much at a certain point. Anyway, this is Marvel 2-in-1 #2. It's The Thing, features The Thing and Submariner. A book I had as a kid growing up. I had all of these at the very beginning, the first 5 to 6 issues of Marvel 2-in-1. I loved The Thing. The Thing was always my favorite character at Marvel. So you know I love Marvel 2-in-1. This was a beautiful issue. I love this. I think it's Gil Kane artwork on the inside. Alright, I picked up The Ultimates #2, Brian Hitch and Scott Millar, or is it Scott Millar? Oh my god, I'm completely blanking. Mark Millar, that's it. It was autographed. I took a chance on that. I didn't pay a lot of money for that. So I've got some autographs on there. I'll take a look at the condition. Maybe I submit that to CBCS. Who knows? The silver paint pen that Mark Millar used, it kind of splotchy on there, so it's not the best presenting. But the one I did spend a little bit of money on this particular order, and a case where I did talk to the seller about this, is like, hey, this is Watchmen #1. What I did was I asked them, is there any kind of streaks or color rubs or anything like that on the back of this? And if anybody, I'm not going to take it out here, but if anybody knows the backs of these covers, it starts off in issue 1 almost 100% black, and then after every issue in the 12-issue miniseries, there is a drip of blood. So by the time you get to the 12th issue, the whole cover is basically red, whereas this one, the back is almost completely black. And doesn't matter which one it is, it really picks up any kind of rub on there. And I asked them to double check it real quick. They said it looked pretty clean, and I've looked at it myself. It is really clean. I don't know if it'll meet that 9.8 threshold, but so far that right now looks like a pretty good buy. Alright, next up, and I did pretty good here. I ended up getting a bunch of books from one particular seller, and one of the things I like about some of the sellers on Whatnot is you can click in there, well, you can click on all of them, but they will list their auctions that they're having, and the ones that I like are the ones that they tell you what the book is. It may not be the order that the auction's in, but they will list, this book's coming up, here's this book, here's that book. A lot of sellers I've already seen, they just put up a generic title, comic book auction number 9, number 10, number 11, and it's a generic, and it's a little hard for you to, at the very end when you get billed, they give you a generic name for an auction. And in this case, I've got this pile of books here. They give you a receipt, and I have no idea at this point what I paid for each one of them individually. I mean, actually, there's no way. Unless you keep track of it yourself at that time, I have no idea what I paid individually for each of these. But anyway, let's go through it. All books that I'm specking on, again, just like at Fantastic Four. They're not huge sellers, but at a really good grade, you can make a little bit of money on them. So we got X-Men #70, or excuse me, 170. You've got X-Men 184. This is the first appearance of Forge. You've got The Amazing Spider-Man. This is issue 666. This is the prelude to Spider Island, but it's a variant cover, I believe. It's a beautiful cover. I got a little FOMO on that one. It's like, oh, let's bid on that. That looks cool. I never had that. I got a Amazing Spider-Man 302. I've already got a copy of this, but love McFarlane's artwork on there. Picked up another copy of X-Men 143. So this is another raw copy that I had. My good copy of this, I just got back from CGC. I got a 9.6 on it. So I've already got 2 9.6s on that, so I'm taking another shot. We have Amazing Spider-Man 235. Nothing too major in this issue, but the seller had a lot of Amazing Spider-Man issues in the 200s. 200. It wasn't. It was just over up to 300, a little over 300, but they had a lot of them in the 200 range, and that's a lot of the books that I'm looking at working with. The things with Hobgoblin. Trying to think. There's some key issues. The first appearance of Normie. Flash Thompson gets revealed as Hobgoblin at one point. You know, there's all kinds of specs, but I didn't get them all. But I got a bunch. So I got here we got another one. We have 251, part of that one of those Hobgoblin stories. I particularly like this one because it had Klaus Janson inking on there. It gives the book a completely different feel from the issues leading up to that. We have issue 337, the Walt Simonson run on Fantastic Four. This is the time variance that they used in the Loki TV series. It's part of that storyline. This is another Fantastic Four. This is a newer book. This is issue 32, and it had a variant cover with Doom getting married. Just a beautiful cover. This was a cover buy for me. And then I picked up Spectacular Spider-Man 200. This is Sal Buscema artwork. I submitted my own copy to CGC on this one already. I got a 9.8 on that one, and I was hoping to be able to pick up another one on that. And issue looks really good at this stage. So I'm looking all of those, just like all of these. I'm going to go through the boxes, and I will take a look and see what needs to be done with them. I'm sure all of them will have some kind of defects that will have to be addressed. Alright, continuing on here. This is actually one of the first, I think this was the third one I got, and I don't know why I got this. I think I got caught up in just bidding on something really early on, but it's the Daredevil number 25 appearance of, I don't know if this is the first Leapfrog or not, but it looks like a real nice Silver Age book. Again, I think I just got caught up in bidding. So there's that. And maybe if it looks real good enough, I'll do an evaluation on it, and I will see if it's good enough to be submitted to CGC. I don't know. I know in the lower grades on that book, I did look a little bit that if it's on a lower grade, it's not really worth getting graded at that point. Now, this was a nice little pickup of books. These are a lot more modern books, and sorry for the writing on the front. They have labels on the front, but this was from Unknown Comics, Strange Academy number 12. It was a Magic and Scarlet Witch variant cover, Virgin. I love this. I remember seeing this, and they had the prices for some of these exclusives like this was a little more expensive than I wanted to pay. So when they had this up there, I paid a few dollars for it. It wasn't that expensive, a lot less than what you could have bought directly. We've got Thor number 5 with the Black Winter. This is a second printing. I didn't do a lot of research on that book, but I know these have been real popular, and maybe there is some value into it. I don't know. I didn't spend a lot of money on that. This one I put a few dollars into, but I always kind of liked this, but I had stopped. At this stage, I was not reading Spawn anymore, so I never even knew this cover existed at the time, but this is the Chadwick Boseman tribute cover. And I picked this up. This is Danger Girls, 20 years. I guess this is technically a trade paperback, but it looks more like it's square-bound comic, but it feels more like a trade paperback. Yeah, let's set these down here. And then I've got Spider-Woman number 1. This is the Michael Turner variant cover. It's a beautiful cover. And I picked up another issue of Marvels. I believe this is number 3. I've got these books here, but it wasn't that expensive, and I went ahead and just picked that up. And then I picked up Batman number 90, and this is I didn't have this. Part of that storylines that kind of I don't think Punchline is in this. She appears in the issue before that, and then a couple issues after that she has her first appearance. But this right here was a book. I actually started getting into these books a little late, and I couldn't get this copy, but I ended up with the third print, which is the same artwork except it's in black and white. And I actually submitted that one to CGC and got a 9.8 on it. So when I saw that this was available for just a few dollars, I went ahead and picked that up too. Alright, continuing on. Now this one, don't mind having another copy of that. I probably paid more than I should have on this, but this book looks really nice. Came back Spawn #1. Can't complain on this so far. Like I said, the money on this is pretty good. This one's going to be a complete. If it's good enough, I'm going to submit this to CGC. We'll see what kind of work needs to be done, but I'm real happy with that one right there. And you see that was a single book, and that's part of my mistakes, is that I was buying some of these books. I should have bought more books from some of these sellers, but I kind of lost track of what I was bidding on and with who. Because yes, you'll have a couple sellers at the same time, but then in the middle of that, what if other sellers start selling and there's multiple channels and flipping back and forth? It wasn't a smart idea. Alright, this one I picked up. This is Dark Horse Presents number 36. This is, I believe, the first appearance of Aliens versus Predator. And I was a big Dark Horse Presents fan, but I didn't come into it until into the 50s, issues 50 and up. A lot of the Frank Miller Sin City books, the John Byrne X-Men, or Next-Men, excuse me. And I've been slowly picking up some of the back issues on this. I know I've got picked up at a little comic convention locally a few months ago. I picked up some of the other issues in the 30s that had aliens. I believe Alien, maybe it had been Predator too. I can't remember, but I've never had this issue. But that looks like that's a really nice issue. I can definitely tell there's a little bit of a tick right there, but it looks clean. That should press out nicely. All right. This one came from Torpedo Comics. At least I assumed that, because of what I did, I noticed that there were several ones listed as Torpedo Comics, so I have no idea. But picked up this. This is X-Men 268. This is what is the first meeting with Black Widow, Captain America, and Wolverine back, I believe, during World War II. I always loved this issue. This is probably one of my two favorites, and you already saw my other one, which was the first Lady Mandarin with Psylocke from the Jim Lee run, and this one was definitely my second. What a beautiful cover. Torpedo Comics has this. They grade their books, and they say this is a very fine near mint 9.0. I'm looking at it. It looks really good. So far, we'll find out if a little bit of cleaner press will get that grade up. All right. Next one I've got here. Let's see. This cost me more in shipping than it did for the book, but I'm like, hey, this is pretty cool. I didn't do this for any spec. I did this because I loved this book when I was a kid, or I should say this run. I never had this issue. This is Tarzan, Lord of the Jungle, the Marvel Comics. This is issue number 1. Just some great John Buscema artwork. As I said, I loved his artwork on the later issues that I had, but I never had this issue. I paid a whole $1 for this. As I said, shipping cost me probably $4 to $5, but this looked really nice, and they say it's a high grade. They say it's a 9.0 plus. I don't know if there's any value in it. I don't care. I love having that. All right, and then the last two I got in today. Again, it was a similar. You'll see a theme here with some of the stuff I buy. It's books, a lot of 90s books, a lot of 80s books that aren't on anybody's. I shouldn't say they're not on people's radars, but they're low on the radar. And I'm kind of going after them right now, trying to be a little early with it. I've got my own books already that I've been cleaning and pressing. I've been trying to add to that, so I'll have more additional books to be able to submit to CGC. But I've got X-Men, Uncanny X-Men 269. This is the Just a classic cover of Rogue and Miss Marvel. And let's see. Oh, pick this up. This is Uncanny X-Men 248. This is the first Jim Lee artwork on X-Men. I submitted my copy that was really nice. I thought it should have been a 9.8. It came back in 9.6, so that was a little disappointing. But what are you going to do? Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Let's see, what other X-Men? Oh, X-Men. This is actually the X-Men number 24. Just a classic Rogue and Gambit cover. Beautiful. In fact, I just literally submitted this, my own copy, to CGC today. The new order just went out. This issue just went out. Alright, let's see what else we got here. Oh, speaking of X-Men, this is the second copy I've owned of this. My other one is really nice, except it's got a little bit of a tear up in the corner. I was hoping to get a better issue. This is the Uncanny X-Men and the new Teen Titans team up. And beautiful, absolutely gorgeous Walt Simonson artwork. Just absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. This is beautiful, and I think this features the second appearance of Deathlock. I don't ever hear people talking about that, but I'm sorry, Deathlock. What am I talking about? Deathstroke, the Terminator. Anyway, beautiful copy. Glad to have that. This I don't know why I picked up. This is the unbelievable Gwenpool. It's the lenticulars they put out. I can't even hold it up. I can't right now. The other monitor went out, so I can't even see what I'm showing you right now. But it's got the lenticular from Fantastic Four number 200. So anyway, to be honest with you, I can't even remember buying that, but I'm sure I didn't spend but a few dollars on it. Got this here. This is Batman 442. I think this is this the first appearance of Tim Drake as Robin? I completely could get this wrong. I know this is one of the issues that is important key with Robin. I just need to look it up and figure out which one it is. Again, I didn't spend a lot on each one of these, or at least I spent what I felt like I could. If it was turned out to be a 9.8, I could turn around and actually make some money on it. All right, last two I didn't spend a lot of money on, but these are actually really good keys right now, and it is Fantastic Four 277 and 273, and this is part of what's getting brought together as part of the Kang storylines that we talked about during the Loki series, and especially both of these are going up in value. I am cleaning and pressing every one I can get. I picked up several of both of these from the Baltimore Comic-Con, and I don't know if I'm going to get 9.8s on any of them, but at 9.6 they both have really good value. Alright guys, the last thing I've got for today, and as I said, this is the other one that came in today, was something that I only ever had the first issue of, but it is the 6 issues of Frank Miller's Ronin. And just absolutely gorgeous artwork. But I had this issue. In fact, I've been working on my copy of this, cleaning and pressing it, but I never did have the other issues on this. I don't know why. At the time, I probably should have picked them up, but who knows. But anyway, I picked up. It was a set. It was all 6 of these. And who knows? I don't even know what the value is, but I'm going to enjoy reading these. Here, I'm just going to set this here, and we'll see. We'll see if there's any real value, and if I read them, I'm going to be real careful with them. But guys, that is it. I'm sorry for the long video today, but there has been a lot of stuff that's been coming in. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this kind of stuff, as I said at the beginning, hit the like and subscribe button. I will be continuing to put out content as new books come in, as CGC unboxings, things like that come in. Please put comments in the section, in the comment section. What do you think of the books that I've been getting? Am I foolish for choosing some of these? I'm curious. What are you guys thinking? So anyway, guys, you have a great day. That is it. I will talk to you later.